Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from South Hadley, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Bloom. And he offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Mass. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
That's correct, and this one never had a tour, but it has one near it.
And so today he will be educating us on the Crosier Field. So tell us about the history of Crosier Field.
All right. Now, it's along several streets, including McIntosh Street, Northampton Street, Beach Street, and it's bordered on the edge by Peck School. So that's where it is, and the history is it used to be called Soldiers Field because soldiers used to have ceremony and parades through this field, and that was because Holyoke had its own division in 1898 when it went after the Spanish-American War, and that was after that a good place to have a Veterans Day. Parades, for instance, or soldiers' marches, so forth. All right, then in 1939, it was named after William Crosier because he was the superintendent of Holyoke's Parks and Rec, and he was also the leader of some military group, Major Crosier. All right, and it's grown and grown since then. Some of the trees that used to be there were planted to honor the men that had gone after the Spanish-American War. It's bordered on one edge, or it used to be two edges, but on one edge by the former Elmwood Park, and that's where the dingle is. And it's bordered by Northampton Street, where the ceremonial trees were placed, but not there anymore. Then McIntosh Street was named after a former head of the Parks and Rec. And then at the edge, the eastern and northeastern edge, it's bordered by the Peck School, which is being rebuilt. Now they have baseball diamonds on there and a softball field, most famously 5 tennis courts. And the place is very popular because it's in the middle of two neighborhoods. It's in the middle of Elmwood and the Oakdale neighborhoods. So lots of people live nearby. Lots of people can get to it very quickly.
Now, what are some of the modern amenities in this field that people might enjoy?
Okay, now the parking. Anytime in the Peck School, whenever the Peck School is not in session. So after school and on weekends, you can always park there. And then along one edge, the McIntosh edge, you can park there. And that's closer to most of the items that are in your park. Now, what can you do in this park? Well, please don't dog walk, but what you can do is hike around, walk, and there's almost always in the summer a little league game or a Babe Ruth game going on because they have a nice field there. And they also have a pickleball court that's along one edge, and that used to be the place where there used to be a fire station. So where you see the tennis courts, 5 of them lined up with their own fence, that used to be 120 years ago an old fire station. It was rather small and of course, we're going to talk about more of the field, but it's along the Peck School. The Peck School has its own Little League baseball field along the school's area. So most people think that's part of Crosier. When it's near the Peck School, then it's part of the school system's field. And it's also near the dingle. If you would like to walk down the shaded area, it's great. Most people just use it for a shortcut nowadays, but it used to be a part of a vast park called Elmwood Park, where it went from this dingle area down towards the other Mackenzie Field and onwards to a dog right to where it's now a football field. But all that was Elmwood Park. So Crosier used to border an enormous park, and for that reason, people thought it was part of that park. All right, and also in this park, there's one more historical item, and that's a couple of historical rocks. And it tells you about the trees they put up and why the Crosier Field was named Crosier Field. And we'll talk about more later.
So quickly before we continue with the rest of the interview, Just to fill our listeners in, if you want to find out more information or sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. In there he has both videos of the various stops along each tour and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you're interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214 and they are perfect for fun and educational outdoor activities for the whole family or for your group parties, especially those special occasions and get-togethers. They are also good just for getting outdoors for the day. So getting back to our interview, how does this field or park fit into this neighborhood?
It used to fit a lot better because at the northwest edge of it, where it comes very close to the former Yankee Peddler, or the corner where Beach and Cherry and Northampton Street all meet, that corner, there used to be a gateway system where you can go through this gate. It was very small, but a ceremonial gate. It was to invite people into the area. And so that fit in very well. And then I told you about how it fit into the Elmwood Park. It was right along this gigantic park. So it was almost like it was part of that park 100 years ago when Elmwood Park was formed. So it fit in exceptionally well. And then its edges are along two different neighborhoods. And for that reason, you get lots of activity going through. It's near two big schools, Holyoke High School and the Peck School, and for that reason, it also fits very well in. Now, this is incredible. Holyoke Hospital used to own some of this land, and that's because it was across the street, Beach Street, and it used to be thought that part of a medical rehab would include the person walking out in nature, breathing fresh air. Obviously, hospitals don't do that anymore. But for that reason, this park also fit into the Holyoke Hospital little sub-neighborhood. And this is really nice to learn about. One really cool fact about this park is that it used to have another school along its edge. In fact, two other schools, the Mechanic Street School and the Elmwood School. And those are now gone, but they're pretty much more located where the driveway into the Peck School is nowadays. So it all fit in very well. Many schools around, a lot of busy roads.
Now, what should this field evolve into?
All right. Now, it's changed through the years, but not that much. It's still very flat, amenable to baseball and tennis. But it's changed to fit in what the needs of the neighborhood were in the past. What will that change to? I don't know. How does society change? If certain sports are more popular 100 years from now, what should this park do? Well, change. Now it's at the edge of all these other features, and when those features change, this park would change. If schools move away, then this park would change too. There might be less activity, because now it's a well-known park because it's near so many schools, but who knows what the future is going to hold for this park.
So thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours, and we want to thank our listeners again for tuning in. And you can also tune into a large selection of our other podcasts and much more at his website. Again, that's holyokecanaltour.org. And you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at, again, that's bobcat4214 and be sure to keep an eye out for his upcoming 2024 season tours and more as they become available.